How's it going, my lovely Death Disciples? I am the Shattered Reaper, and today, what is this? Hold on a second. Actually, we do need to hold on a second. What is this? Is it the Shattered Reaper playing someone other than Caitlyn in a League of Legends video? Well, yes, in fact, that is exactly what is happening. I am playing as Ashe because, well, Caitlyn was banned. So I'm going back to my original League of Legends / Ranger roots as Ashe, where I play as the superior bow and arrow wielding Ashe, the war mother of Aberos, with our very magical, cold, frosty arrows of doom. And of course, we do have the Kane's Fury rune that I have equipped, so which I've always had with Caitlyn. But yeah, so as we're starting, we're leashed over with Dr. Mundo and Seraphine as my support. Garen is over in that bush, but he's not really going to be doing anything pinnacle as of right now. But we are getting ready for like any invasions that are made, but they do not really invade us while we are leashed over with Dr. Mundo in being able to take the red buff. So as soon as Seraphine and Dr. Mundo basically have had enough waiting around, I decided to go in and I decided to help out for the red buff as we wait for it to eventually come around. And here the big guy comes along, and we are ready to take down this guardian tree. And I do have my Q available, but I don't really use it like I do with Caitlyn's Q, because it's sort of a different kind of ability where the passive is where the attacks grant stack for 4 seconds, and at 4 stacks she may activate the ability. Active Ashe gains 20% attack speed, and her attacks deal 75 damage instead for 4 seconds. So things start off a little bit rough as we try to go in and flank them from behind. We are able to get some poke damage on Misfortune, but unfortunately Seraphine has taken a lot of damage, and it's not a very good opportune moment for me to try and go after Misfortune. And I am trying to get used to using Ashe for dealing with the minions, but I do not have a lot of damage at the moment. However, we are up against Lux as well, and she is definitely trying to harass me. Not a fan of it. And then there's Misfortune also harassing me whenever she gets the chance. Good on her. But it is definitely affecting me quite a bit, so I really need to be careful in this gameplay, because as of right now, the enemy does have a bit of an advantage. However, Misfortune does make quite a bit of a big mistake as she gets under tower to try and kill Seraphine, to which I take full advantage of. I did have a really good opportunity to take care of Lux, but I was a bit distracted by my own low health and also the huge amount of minions that were kind of in the way that kind of stressed me out a little bit. Lux did come back to give me a second opportunity, but my low health also drove me away yet again as Lux made the opportunity, or the mistake, to also go under tower. If she was within range, I could have killed her. Either of us could have actually killed each other, but it did not happen. So it was kind of a loss for both of us. So, however, I do have the 1 kill that puts me at an advantage over the Misfortune. However, there is a slight little bit of a problem where Misfortune does, well, actually not right now. I mean, we're both kind of even when it comes to the who has the most last hits on minion kills, but as you will be able to see, Misfortune will eventually get a bit of a lead on me. Misfortune does have 1 kill, actually, now that I realize, but she did die to me, so that does put me at a slight advantage over her technically, but she does still have the 1 kill from killing Seraphine. So we are both kind of on even grounds, but our bottom does have a little bit of an advantage considering each one of us has a kill over Misfortune's single kill. As for me, I am trying to build up to the Kraken Slayer, as you could tell, and I start off with my normal starting item for ADC, which is the Call, so that I can get some extra monetary advantage, so definitely want to be able to have that. I also prepare myself with a potion and a couple of longswords. However, as you could see, the last hits are racking up a little bit for Misfortune, as she has now 21 minion kills, and I only have 9, so I'm kind of behind at the moment when it comes to who's going to be stronger than who. But don't worry, that's not necessarily going to mean she is going to win. I use my arrows to try and get myself a couple of last hits on minions. I do get hit by Misfortune's Q, so that's not necessarily fun to deal with. And I get hit by her W, but Seraphine is there to try and get her off of me, so definitely very helpful, although I will admit she was not necessarily the most, well, the player who was playing Seraphine was not necessarily the most pleasant, so I kind of muted them for most of the match. But anyway, right now I'm just trying to focus on getting the farm as much as I can. Lux does have a little bit of a vision over in our bottom bush, but I'm trying to make sure that I keep distance from the rest of them because Ashe should be a very important clue for Ashe, is that you want to make sure that she is kept at a long distance from the enemy so that she can work her magic. Literally. Because, I mean, that's kind of what she does. She's there to deal some magic damage. She's there to basically attack from afar, not really up close and personal, which Miss Fortune actually is kind of better at, even though she's a ranged hero. She's more close range, however. However, Miss Fortune does provide an ample opportunity for me to get her, and I get the second hit, but Lux does kill me with her meteor comet. And it definitely does not work to my benefit. However, it does put me at more of an advantage in comparison to Miss Fortune because I have 2 kills now, and Miss Fortune only has the 1. And also the 2 deaths, but you know. Anyway, I do build up to getting the Noon Quiver, which gives me 30 attack damage and 15% attack speed, as well as Precision, which gives me some extra physical damage against minions and monsters, so very helpful, especially since I do have the Call, and I only have a progress of about, like, 21 minions for the 100 I need in order to get the 350 bonus gold once I finish the Reap. So I try to get back into my lane, and I decide to put up a ward over in the jungle so that I could keep an eye on, like, is anybody going to try and gank us? And Miss Fortune is trying to take an opportunity to farm, to which I tell her to go away and stop trying to farm the minions. But she also says, oh yeah, well, rain of bullets, bitch. So, you know, it was a bit of a back and forth thing. Yeah, I am in a little bit of a vulnerable position because now there's 2 of them, and only one of me, Seraphine, does eventually arrive, but however, I am able to go ahead and have Lux waste her abilities on me as I dodge them very successfully and very gracefully in the Ranger way. I do get hit very harshly by Miss Fortune, and Miss Fortune does use a lot of healing, but I am able to still deal the final blow against her. However, Miss Fortune does also deal a shared blow against me before she dies thanks to those bullets raining from the sky, so not very helpful for me, unfortunately, and that just kind of leaves the supports to duke it out a little bit on their own. I, for some reason, still have that heart pinging from Miss Fortune's passive when she shot me, so I guess maybe her love touch is still on me, I suppose. Ashe X Miss Fortune? Who knows? I mean, come on! Anyway, so, with that, we were able to get I did eventually go ahead and give myself an agility cloak, but now you can also see just how different we are when it comes to the last hits, which is very important as an ADC. I mean, getting more kills than the opposing ADC is definitely a nice bonus, but having the last hits is eventually just more of an important bonus because having 3 waves of minions is actually worth more than, you will actually probably see it even from the advertising, or like not the advertising, but the loading screen tip that you get. As you can see, Miss Fortune is just wailing a bunch of damage on me. We both use our ults on each other, but Miss Fortune is able to bring me down just barely, which then leads to Seraphine eventually dealing the final blow through her ult. So very good on Seraphine, I will definitely say. But Lux then uses her own ult, and basically that was just an ult battle, to which I did not necessarily win on. But, as you could see, yeah, Miss Fortune does have an advantage over me simply because of the fact that she does have more minion kills than me, and that benefits her in having more XP and gold. Again, champion kills definitely are worth a lot, but ultimately, in the long run, getting more minion kills than your then your rival ADC that you are up against is actually going to be a bit more important. That's not to say they should be your main priority over your own survival, but it is definitely something you need to keep an eye on. So you definitely want to make sure that you are, in fact, making sure you keep lane domination so that you can take advantage of having those minion kills. But if you are not able to get lane domination, then the best you can really do is just try and play it safe, while trying to farm when you get the opportunity. But most of the time, if you are on the losing end, then you're probably not going to be able to have a lot of opportunity to farm because, well, they might just be able to get you first. So because I am far behind in my minion kills, I try to make up for it, but then Miss Fortune is going after Seraphine, so I simply just try to have her driven away. Lux unleashes her ult upon me, and that deals some heavy damage, so not very fun to deal with. However, I am taking care of a bunch of the minions as I can go. I do miss out my opportunity on that minion, unfortunately. However, Miss Fortune is focusing on Seraphine, so I take the opportunity to just simply go after her, but Seraphine deals the final blow with her ability. So, Miss Fortune not really having a fun time here. But it is a rough start for me, and it has been a while since I've played Ashe, so I will be using that as my excuse for why I'm not doing so well as Ashe. I mean, I'm maining as Caitlyn, so, excuse me for not necessarily doing well in Ashe, especially since Ashe is not necessarily a champion I feel all that confident of. But after dealing with the bottom lane, we deal with a little bit of a team fight over at the Dragon. I'm able to take care of Lux and get rid of that annoyance finally. And then Dr. Mundo is taking care of Warwick, to which I join him in doing, and Dr. Mundo eventually deals the final blow. Miss Fortune returns for round 2, but I am in no shape to be able to deal with that fight. I have to use both of my summoner spells in order to get away, both my flash and my heal, to which Miss Fortune also used her heal. So she did waste a summoner spell as well, but because of my current health situation, I was not going to be able to fight her. However, Yasuo eventually does come in, and I decide I want to compete for farming. Not necessarily the best idea, but you know, as long as we're in a safe distance, I decide to just go ahead and mine, and if she does get a bit too, or not mine, farm. How did I get those two mixed up? Anyway, so as long as I play at a safe distance, I decide that it's safe enough to go ahead and farm. But if I get too close, I do this, and I just try to run away. But Lux was able to hit me with an ability. So, once again, I am maintaining a safe distance so that I can farm against the enemy team. Meanwhile, just trying not to engage in combat. Take care of a ward that I probably didn't even know was there, because I'm pretty sure I don't recall ever seeing it. But I am able to get some extra gold from that, and I also have 3 mage minions all to myself to farm from without any troubles at all whatsoever. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the Cloud Drake, so they do have the buff that comes along with killing it. They have a plus 12 ultimate ability haste, and I also noticed that as a bit too late, I noticed the entire enemy team coming our way. And I try to basically deal with them as I go. Garen is definitely pursuing me, even to tower, which was a huge mistake on his part because it does allow me the opportunity to deal him the final blow after all the damage we had in the earlier team fight. I get a little bit confident in seeing if I can push them ahead, try to go for Miss Fortune, but she does realize what I'm doing and escapes to safety, unfortunately. And considering she's behind a lot of her fellow teammates, not a good idea to go up against them. So I simply just try to maintain a safe distance against this 3v2 situation, or 2v3 situation, that I am in. Seraphine is definitely harassing, well, I'm sorry, 2v4 situation by mistake. However, things are definitely not looking too well, as Warwick is now pursuing me, and he does kill me under tower, so, but Dr. Mundo is making his own contribution, but it's not quite enough, where he does kill Miss Fortune, but he himself is killed by the rest of the enemy team, so not entirely worth, I would say, but eventually, because of my contributions, I am able to go ahead and get myself the Kraken Slayer, as well as a nice pair of basic boots, which then I upgrade into Mercury Treads, which give me 25 magic resistance, 45 movement speed, and 30% tenacity, which reduces the duration of stuns, slows, taunts, fears, silences, blinds, polymorphs, and immobilizing effects, but it doesn't have an effect on airborne or suppression, so, Malphazar is definitely still gonna have an effect on me. I don't know if there are any airborne champions that could use that on me, but, yeah. I am also catching up when it comes to the last hits for the minions, so I am trying to make sure that I am still in the game when it comes to competing for last hits. I use my ult to try and give an opportunity for us to get Lux, as well as my ult, but she does escape, so the target does switch to Misfortune, who decides to replace Lux for, or decides to take her place. We also see a ward, so I kind of take the last hit so that I could get myself some extra gold. But Lux is able to escape, but at the very least, we are able to bring down Misfortune so that I have an opportunity to farm instead of Misfortune. So that's definitely one of the things you want to take advantage of. You want the ADC to be down so that they cannot be farmed, or not be able to farm. So that you, as your own ADC, if you are ADC, you want to make sure that you have the farm, or if you're the support, you want to make sure your ADC has the farm and not your enemy ADC. So if you do want to target, definitely go prioritize the ADC whenever you can. The support, if you have the opportunity, definitely sure, but ADC is definitely going to be more of a priority target because they have to be the ones to be fed. If they aren't, well, then there's not much they can really do, and they're supposed to be a really valuable team member.
Shut down.
So anyway, as for that information, sort of splurge, as you can see, we definitely have a little bit of a, difference in, kill-to-death ratios. I have a 6-to-4 kill-death ratio, and Misfortune is a bit behind me with 4 kills and 7 deaths, so that puts her at a bit of a disadvantage considering the statistics for the stats we are working with. However, I'm trying to get rid of these minions that are in my way, so that I can take full advantage of the farm and have the minions continue to be my meat shields. I decide to let them go on their way and hope that the enemy turret deals with them while I take care of that ward, so that I can get some vision in our jungle. And here I am just continuing to farm the enemy minions, so that I can take full advantage, as per usual. And then we get ourselves a bit closer to the tower, which gives me the perfect opportunity to take it down. And also to kill Lux for the last time she tried to escape. Misfortune, however, does go off and escapes eventually. Seraphine tries to pursue a little bit, but I decided it wasn't a good idea, and I decided I may as well just kind of farm here. But yeah, as you can see, Ashe's ultimate is a very effective weapon. Not necessarily a final blow sort of ultimate, but more of an ultimate where you want to use it when you see an opportunity that you can take advantage of someone to kill them. And you may have also been noticing some of the other abilities I didn't explain. So I also have the volley, which is basically the one where you see all of the arrows appear in a cone. Only one of those will actually be effective for each enemy. Ashe fires a volley of 9 arrows, each dealing 232 physical damage. Enemies can be hit by multiple arrows, but only take damage from the first. But here we are in another team battle where Dr. Mundo is taking the brunt of the damage, and we are able to get rid of Warwick. I see Garen chasing after Seraphine, so since he is now focused on me, I decide to take full advantage by shooting at him as he continues to chase Seraphine. And because my arrows have a passive of giving them a cold shoulder, you might say, the passive frost shot attacks and abilities slow 26% for 2 seconds. Attacks against enemies affected by this ability deal 125% damage. And Ashe's critical strikes deal no extra damage, instead increasing the slow to 52% decay. So very helpful in being able to chase your enemies and making sure they are not effective in combat. Now this one I haven't necessarily been using a whole lot because I don't really find a whole lot of use for it, or a lot of opportunity I see to use it, but I'm pretty sure it is a very useful ability to have. The Hawk Shot, Ashe sends forth a hawk to grant vision for 5 seconds anywhere on the map. It also reveals the area around it as it flies. This ability has 2 charges. Again, I didn't really use it a whole lot, even though I probably should have, but I was too busy trying to figure out what fights I could get involved in. so I apologize for that. But the ultimate ability I did not show earlier, but I talked about earlier, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Ashe launches a crystal arrow of ice that stuns the first champion hit and deals 400 magic damage. The stun duration increases with distance traveled up to 3.5 seconds. Surrounding enemies take half damage. So this is very effective when you see an enemy that is trying to escape or that you could take advantage of through a surprise attack or an ambush. Definitely a very effective ability to use, especially for enemies that are trying to escape or may have been separated from that group. Definitely a perfect opportunity to use on an enemy that you are certain you can kill. If it doesn't happen, well, then that's fine, but it is very effective in being able to take out an enemy that is trying to escape, or an enemy that you have a pretty good idea will possibly die because you decide to stun them. So, it's not an ability that you want to use to try and kill someone, it's an ability you want to use to try and provide the opportunity to kill, whether it be by you or by someone else. But that's basically the main priority of that ultimate ability. Now here we are seeing another big team fight where Garen and Warwick are out trying to attack us, but it really does not work well. And Warwick and Garen do both go down to Darius. I use my flash to escape out of Lux's ability. I use my own volley to hit both Misfortune and Lux. I focus a little bit on Misfortune before we both decide to turn around and run away because, well, we are both a bit injured. I use my health potion and decide to do a little bit of farming just so that I can, once again, have a little bit more opportunity. Darius takes the ranged ones with his own Q. I don't remember what it was. It's been a while since I've played Darius. But we are able to take down the mid turret, and Darius uses his flash offensively to take care of Lux, and I go ahead and shoot down Misfortune. However, both Darius and I are in a bit of trouble with Malphazar, so I use my heal even though it's not that effective with Ignite on both of us, but we are able to make our great escape and just head back to base. So yeah, and also I did finish off the call, so I was able to get my bonus gold all the way, so now I can just go ahead and sell it off, and I have myself a 400 gold bounty, 9 kills, 4 deaths, and 9 assists, and with the money I made, I get myself a Mortal Reminder, a very recommended item for, recommended early item for Ashe. Gives me 25 attack damage, 25% attack speed, 20% critical strike chance, and 7% movement speed, with Sepsis dealing physical damage applies 40% grievous wounds to enemy champions for 3 seconds. I may have explained this before, but I'm saying this again for anyone that hasn't necessarily seen this item before. Dealing 3 consecutive attacks to an enemy champion enhances the effect to 60% grievous wounds against them until the effect is allowed to elapse. So this is a very useful item, especially for champions like Warwick, because Warwick kind of has a natural lifesteal for his kit in his passive as well as his abilities. They have sort of a natural lifesteal. But it's also effective for items that do have a lifesteal, and it's also effective against any items or passive abilities that give health regeneration. It's very effective against those. Basically, any way that an enemy can heal, it's going to deal some pretty devastating effects to make sure that it's not as effective as it could be. Now, I tried to go ahead and flank around Malphazar, and this is a bit of... I missed my ult, as you can tell. Not a very useful situation. Malphazar does suppress me a little bit, and we do come to a bit of a close fight, but it does not quite work out in the end, as you can see, where I got a little overconfident, and he is able to take my bounty by killing me. That's not necessarily the best, but as you can see, the top lane is dealing some heavy damage and taking care of the top tower. And now are working on getting rid of the inhibitor as well as taking care of Malphazar and Garen. Yasuo definitely wrecking the field, but he is going to have to make an escape soon enough if he wants to survive, but it doesn't seem like he will, as Warwick finally shuts him down after his killing spree on his teammates, where Warwick is the only sole survivor. But now I am back in the game, and I am ready to wreak some vengeance for what has been done to me. We were also able to get ourselves a couple of dragons as well. As you saw earlier, I did take the Infernal Dragon, which gives us a plus 4% attack damage and ability power. And then we also took down a Mountain Dragon, which I was not there for, but it does give us a plus 6% armor and magic resistance buff. And now we are back in mid lane, where for some reason I was not paying attention. I was just kind of spaced out in that moment. But that's why I allowed myself to get hit by the tower. But once I realized what was going on, I just decided to farm the minions. And I used my volley just to make a little bit of annoying poke damage against the enemy. We destroy the turret, and we are able to take down Garen with Seraphine dealing the final blow. We have a big opportunity to take care of Warwick, and I got the final blow there. I take a little bit of time to take care of Misfortune, and then we kind of farm the rest, leaving Lux to be sort of desperate and wondering what she is gonna do about this situation with me, Yasuo, Dr. Mundo, and now Yasuo over in mid lane. She throws out her ability, I dodge the effect, and then she throws out another one, and it doesn't attempt to get anyone. We take down the turret for the final turret for the mid lane, and then I farm the rest of the minions that are over at the inhibitor, and then destroy the mid lane inhibitor, thus providing us another lane where our minions will have an advantage. I get a bit too close to the enemy, not a very good idea on my end, but Lux does use her ultimate, and as Garen tries to chase me down, I take a nice arrow to his chest to show him how much of a fool he was for overextending as much as he did. And then after that, I decide to take my leave because I'm low, and I need to get the hell out of here. And with that, I take a nice little rest over at the base, just have a little bit of cup of tea. And then, as you could see, I have now gotten myself to having more farm than Misfortune. So not only do I have more kills than she does, where I have 11 kills, 5 deaths, and 11 assists, she now has 4 kills, 11 deaths, and 6 assists. But it does show, once again, how far farming can really take you, especially as ADC. It puts you at more of an advantage, and it's very useful to be able to have the farm that you can to give you the advantage over your enemies. So,
double kill.
And Darius is able to make a nice double kill. Misfortune really not having a fun time, though. But now, not only do I have the Mortal Reminder, I also have the Phantom Dancer, which gives me a 25% attack speed, 20 attack damage, 20 critical strike chance, and a 7% movement speed. I see Garen once again chasing Seraphine, and I decide to intervene with my ult, setting up for a nice final blow from my arrows. True Queen style. And let's see, where was I with my items? Oh yes. I also had the Spectral Waltz for my Phantom Dancer, which attacks, grants ghosting, and 7% movement speed for 3 seconds. In addition, attacking 4 times causes Spectral Waltz to also grant 30% attack speed for the same duration. So, definitely very useful for getting some attack speed. Take down another red turret over in the top lane so that we can add more of an advantage for our cause, and then I just kind of farm the rest. Now, I also have a Rage Knight, which gives me plus 25% attack speed and also some Wrath. Your critical strike chance is converted to 105 physical damage on hit. So very useful item to have, and it was meant to be built into, what was it? It wasn't the Ruined King's, item. It was something else, but I know I wasn't able to finish the item, so that's kind of why I don't really remember what it was called. But it's a very nice item. It definitely was something that focused a lot on attack speed. It was Guizamo's Knife, I believe. I don't know if that's exactly what it was called, but it is an item that definitely is very good for attack damage and attack speed. And it was definitely going to be my next item before getting Infinity Edge, one of my favorite items ever. But yeah, I'm not able to build up to that point, unfortunately, so I just make do with what I got. However, eventually we do push up to the enemy final lines. We are about to go ahead and attack the final top tower, but unfortunately we do not have any minions that we can use as meat shields, so unfortunately that's just gonna have to be put on hold. So instead I just kind of farm some enemy minions just to make things easier for when the minions can go ahead and attack the tower so that we can destroy it, which will happen. So while we're waiting for them, we kind of have a little bit of a standoff against the enemy team, and I try to get ready for it. But then I also noticed that the minions finally arrived over the final top tower, so I decided to help out with that. And so from that, we bring it down, and then I also farm a few minions, as you can see. And we go ahead to bring down the final, this is the bottom inhibitor. Garen overextends a little bit, which leads to his demise yet again. I try to go for Lux, but my ult does get Malphazon. Dr. Mundo gets all of those kills, but unfortunately I am brought down by Warwick, and he actually has an item that did kill me, which I was wondering if he had something like this. He has a Thorn Mail on, which provides him 350 health and 60 armor, but it also has the Thorns. When struck by an attack, deal 19 magic damage to the attacker and apply 40% grievous wounds for 3 seconds if they are a champion. Immobilizing champions applies 60% grievous wounds for 3 seconds, so it was kind of that reflecting damage that was part of why I ended up dying, because I was on such low health. So, yeah, he was able to bring me down pretty brutally. And, yeah, that's kind of what ends my little streak there. Well, not necessarily streak, because I only killed one person, which was Garen. Anyway, so I am now at a stat of 12 kills, oh no, wait, I did finish the build for this item. Gwynso's Rage Blade. So yes, this is an item that most certainly focuses on attack speed. 45% attack speed and 20% critical strike chance. Gives you Wrath. Your critical strike chances are converted to 160 physical damage on hit, and also Seething Strike. Every third attack applies your on-hit effects twice. And considering I also have the Kraken Slayer, which gives a 138 physical true damage every third attack, let's just say every third attack is just gonna be absolutely brutal because of that. So, like, yeah, definitely not messing around with the lucky 3 shots. But yes, we are now also I'm also trying to find a way to save up for the best friend sword for the Infinity Edge, but unfortunately we do not necessarily get to that point. The inhibitors for both the top lane and the mid lane are back up, so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring them down once again. But the enemies are keeping their distance. I see Warwick, so I decide but I also saw the low health for the tower, so I decided to give my life to basically bring it down, and Warwick ends up killing me to punish me for bringing down that tower, but you know what, in the end, it was worth it. Anyway, so now we're kind of at the standoff point yet again, where there's only poke damage being applied to everyone. When given the chance, Seraphine deals a bunch of damage to the tower. Misfortune is trying to ult on our team. Garen is attacking Dr. Mundo without support, but then Warwick decides to join in. But Dr. Mundo is tanking their damage like a champ, and he takes down Garen. Yasuo is just dealing some heavy damage along with Darius against the enemy, and Darius is going to get a nice kill on Misfortune through that bleeding effect. And Warwick is the only one left on their side. I eventually return to the battle, but it is only just as we destroy the enemy nexus. And that is basically the end of this match. And it was definitely fun to be able to get into a good match with Ashe. I will admit, at first I was a little bit worried about how it was going to go, but I'm very glad I was able to get a good game out of Ashe. So with that, we are going to go ahead and end the video here. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, especially with the new, not always being Caitlyn, but now I'm actually somebody else. That must have actually been fun to see me playing as someone else finally. But with that, we're gonna end the video, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. Give that like button a stab if you did. Subscribe if you want more Death in Your Life. Be sure the bell is tolling for thee, and until next time, rest in peace. Bye! Enjoyed today's video? Well, there's plenty more for you to enjoy here, and if you also want to support this small channel, then there is also my Ko-fi, which is available, as well as a Twitter thread that gives you my commissioning info. And if you'd like some traditional art or literature, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Thank you for enjoying the video and for your viewership.